Hi guys, this is Brandy, otherwise known as Mystery of Diamonds, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hey y'all! Okay, so I had already filmed a series of unboxings prior to this video with my new setup, but I haven't finished editing those, so this one will actually be up before those are. So this is now actually the first time that you will see this new setup. My husband was awesome enough to get me this little video arm, and so we're trying it out. I also have a lighting that I know you'll see some shadows. I'm trying to eliminate as many of them as I can, but right now we're making do with what I have. But I am doing this collaboration of Lumina with Kara, who is the principal painter diamond painting. And guys, if you have not subscribed to her channel, you need to go over to her channel. She is amazing and you will love her. Okay, so what we've been doing is that, in case this is the first time that you're coming on, is that we are taking Lumina, which is from Diamond Art Club, and we are customizing her. So when I get completely finished with her, I will do a post review where I will insert closer up images of the canvas. Now, I do have to say that, like, my favorite customization part right now are her eyes and her lips. I mean, I love everything else I've done, but I'm gonna bring you down to see that. So we're gonna go for a short little ride. I'm gonna try to be easy here. And so see, I have put ABs and sparklers in her eyes, and I've put sparklers and a few ABs right here in her lips. And I don't know why, but that's just like my favorite part. Alright, so I'm going to bring you back up. Alright, so before we start the Wip and Chat, there's a couple of things that we need to go over. Number one, in order to be entered into either the weekly giveaway or for the big giveaway at the end, because remember, we are doing little weekly small giveaways, and then at the end we're going to do a big giveaway for a canvas. Now, in order to do that, you have to do two things. Number one, you have to comment on this video for next week's giveaway. Number two, there is a Google form down in the description of this video. You need to click on that Google form and you need to fill it out. All I am asking for is your YouTube name and your email address so that I can contact you to get your address when you win. Okay? But if you have not filled out that Google form, even if you've commented in the video, if you have not filled out that Google form, then I can't choose you as one of my winners because I need to be able to contact you. So I did have a few on this one that I'll be giving away today that didn't fill out the Google form, and as much as I would love to be able to give y'all a prize, I need that Google form filled out. So please, please, please make sure that you fill it out so that you can be entered. Okay, and make sure that you make a comment. You need to comment on the video as well. All right, so now that the business part I think is done, I will go ahead and tell you I will be doing the giveaway for this week at the end of the video, so you need to stay tuned so that you can see who wins this week's giveaway. All right, so I am going to bring you down so you can see me working. Okay, give me just a minute. All right, so what Kara and I have been talking about is, since both of us are educators. You know, she's a principal and I'm a teacher. We've been talking about, you know, our educational experience and like what we've seen and everything, and like people that inspire us. And, you know, I figured I would actually go through, because I was talking to Kara, and, you know, here's the cool thing, guys. I am so pleased to be a part of this community, because I have met some absolutely amazing people here on YouTube, and Kara being one of them, because she is, like, in reality, like, her and I, when we decided to start doing this collaboration together, we started talking, and now she is one of my best friends, and we talk. She's like a sister to me now, and we talk every day. And I absolutely love it. She is amazing. And so I was talking to her, and, you know, I said that I was probably going to talk about my 7th grade experience and all. And then we kind of got to talking about people that inspired us growing up. And I was telling her a story about when I was younger and something that had happened, and she was like, you have got to tell that story. You've got to tell it. And so, because it is about a coach who inspired me, and something that I got a chance to do and almost got a chance to do something really big. So I decided I would go ahead and tell that story. And depending on how long that story takes me, then I may tell you a little bit about the 7th grade thing, about teaching in 7th grade. Yes, I do use tweezers. Yes, sometimes they can be finicky, especially when I've got like sticky stuff on my tweezers from picking up things off the canvas, but I still love them. That's just me. Okay, so when I was younger, I've always been small as far as in height for my age, and, you know, there are some things that you can do that smallness helps, and gymnastics is one of those. So I started gymnastics when I was about 5 years old. Okay. And they had the gymnastics at the elementary school where I went. They had it after school, you know, and since my mom, you know, she worked and she was a single mom, so, you know, I had to go to the after school care program at the school, and the coach was like, yeah, you know, you need to do gymnastics. And so my mom went ahead and put me in gymnastics, and I really, really loved it. You know, I got to learn a lot of things, but my coach, her name was Miss Becky Carr, and she was, oh my God, she was amazing. She would teach us everything, you know, and I think probably my favorite event would probably have to be, I liked the floor exercise. The floor routine was always fun for me because I like to dance, and floor exercise gave you a chance to dance and tumble, and so I liked that, and I liked the uneven bars, and vault was okay, but it was not my favorite. And, you know, there are things that happen as you're doing gymnastics. You know, there are times that you fall, because, I remember there was one time that I fell off of the the balance beam, I was doing a roll on the balance beam and I fell. And when I fell, yes, we have pads up underneath, but I managed to hit the bar that holds up the balance beam on the way down. Oh, I had a nasty little bump, but you know, my coach is like, you got to get back up. You know, you have to get back into it. And I was like, okay, you know, and that is true. You know, you can't stay scared as you're doing it. You have to move on. So, you know, she was training me and everything, and my mom, since she was a single mom and since she was always working, you know, she couldn't always take me, she didn't take me to tournaments or anything. And my coach thought that I was good enough to actually do competitive gymnastics, which was awesome. I mean, you know, it gave me a huge vote of confidence. And so she would take some of us to gymnastics meets and we would compete. Now, when you compete in gymnastics at a super young age, you know, even though the scoring is still out of 10, you know, they don't bring the scoring down. It's just that, you know, most times, or at least in the tournaments I went to, most times the best you may score would be like in the sixes, maybe if you were lucky a 7. And I was really happy because one time I was at a tournament and I was competing on vault and I did a really good, I mean, my dismount, I stuck it perfectly, you know, did not wobble, did not move. And I was really happy, and I actually received an 8.5, which is the highest that they have ever given at that point to our age level. So my coach was just beyond thrilled, needless to say. Well, so we kept going to tournaments, and she decided that I had huge potential because I was, you know, I was winning a lot of first place, a lot of in each of the events, and first place all around. So she was like, you know what, I think, whoopsie, sorry, there goes some little, that's the only danger with using tweezers, is sometimes if I squeeze too hard, they go shooting off. But that's okay. And so she thought that I had huge potential. And so she started training me extra one-on-one. Since my mom was usually the last to come pick me up, she would work with me extra after all the other kids were picked up and went home. And my mom knew that she didn't have to hurry because I was going to be at extra practice. Now, there are things that we practice that I was not happy, to say the least, to stay behind on. There was this one move where you have the uneven bars and you're on the top and you've got the bar in between legs, like, so you've got your legs, so like here's the bar and you've got your legs straight out here and straight out here. Okay, so, and then you're supposed to go around the bar without bending your legs, you know, and come straight up. And so, but when I would do it, I would hook my knees around the bar, which you're not supposed to do. That is a big no-no. And she was like, nope, I'm going to teach you that you cannot hook your leg. Do it again. Do it again. And she made me do it so much that the skin on the back of my leg was becoming very, very raw. And I told her, and she's like, trust me, I'm not trying to hurt you, but I promise you, with that leg getting raw, you gonna stop hooking that leg. you know. And so it was a little bit of tough love, and I actually appreciated it, because sure enough, I got so tired of, I mean, like, I did not want that bar touching that leg, and so I executed it perfectly. I was able to spin around and not not bend that leg. And then, you know, once I had it, she made me do it a couple of more times, and sure enough, I finally got it down. She was also teaching me, now keep in mind, I was young, and so there were things that she was teaching me, like I was learning how, I already had learned how to do front and back rolls on the balance beam. She was then teaching me how to do cartwheels on the balance beam. And for those that don't know what a balance beam is, okay, literally the beam is this wide. I am not exaggerating here. Okay, the balance beam itself is very small. Okay, and the rest, what are the reasons it's called a balance beam? It's not something that's easy to walk on, much less have to do some of the dance moves that are usually in some routines, cartwheels, rolls, any of that. And so, and that's kind of the purpose, is for it to be difficult. So she was teaching me how to do a cartwheel on the balance beam, which is an advanced move for my age group especially. And she was teaching me how to do more advanced stuff on the uneven bars. And she was teaching me how to do advanced vault, which vault is like, you have what they call the pommel horse, which is just like this. It almost looks like when you go to the rodeo and you've seen like the little mechanical bulls that don't have any heads, right? It's just this long thing right here. Okay, it's like that, and it's set up on bars, and you have this bouncy scale board in front of it, and you run and you jump on it, and then you do some sort of trick and go over the vault. And when you land on the mat behind the vault, when we say stick it, we mean that your feet hit and they don't move. You don't wobble, you don't fall over. And that's what they call a good dismount. So, and it's kind of the same way when you have the balance beam, you know, because you're high up and you have to dismount. Everything, with the exception of floor exercise, has a dismount, where when you come off the apparatus, you stick your landing. That means your feet stick and nothing wobbles and you don't fall over, and you know, it goes from there. So she was teaching me all of these advanced techniques. You know, I was also learning how to do I was already good at cartwheels and round-offs. She was teaching me how to do a back tuck and you know, a lot of different techniques, because she had confidence in me, and because I was winning so much on the circuit when she would take me to gymnastics meets. Well, then unfortunately the day came when she got offered a paid position someplace, and you know, she was a coach, and she decided, you know, to take that position because it was more money, you know. And we were all so sad to see her go, because she was an amazing coach and she taught us so much. Well, then the school decided that gymnastics was such a hit that they would find a new person to train us. And they got a new person, but the new person did not believe in competitive gymnastics. So we there were no more going to meets. She was not interested in doing advanced techniques, or helping to improve on skills and learn new skills. And so my mom just didn't think that the money was worth it. I was no longer learning what I was learning from Miss Carr. And so, and just to be honest with you, I do not remember her name, because when my mom decided, she was like, you know what, it's just not worth the money. And there was not really any other gymnastics place that I could get to in time with my mom working. And so the decision was made that I would no longer be in gymnastics. And that was when I was in 3rd grade. Okay, so I had been doing gymnastics from 5 years of age, which I was 5 in the 1st grade, so I had been doing it 1st through 3rd. And then, like I said, Miss Carr had to leave. The new coach came in. I wasn't learning anything, so my mom took me out. Then, come 4th grade, I'm sitting in my classroom in 4th grade, and there's a knock on the door, and my teacher answers it, and there standing is my old coach, Miss Carr. So needless to say, I was just like, oh my gosh, Miss Carr, Miss Carr. And she asked the teacher, she said, I really need to speak with Brandy. Can I borrow her for a second? And my teacher was like, yeah, sure. And so we went out in the hallway, and of course, Miss Carr gives me a hug, and she's like, how are you doing and everything. And then after the pleasantries are over, she looks at me and she goes, please, please, please tell me that you are still in gymnastics competitively. And I looked at her, and I told her the situation. I told her about the fact that the person that we had was not, did not want to do competitive gymnastics, and that I had not been in it for about a year. And when it comes to competitive gymnastics, especially when you are young, see, when you're young, your body is still developing, right? And you can actually get the muscle groups built. So I had a lot of muscle groups in my my legs and my thighs and my back and my arms. All of those were building, and it was physically building as I was growing. So when you stop doing competitive gymnastics, then your body starts growing a different way. And so it's pretty much almost impossible to get you back to, it's not impossible, but it's close to impossible to get you back to competitive level. And when I told her that, her face fell, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, oh my gosh, you are not going to believe this. I said, what's wrong? Because every time that I used to take you to gymnastics meets and all this, I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, you never know who's going to be at gymnastics meets. And in quite a few of the meets that I took you to was a specific coach. And I'm like, okay, what coach? And she said, Bella Caroli. Now, for those of you that don't know about gymnastics or anything, Bella Caroli was the coach that trained Mary Lou Retton and Nadia Comaneci and for the Olympics. And I was like, okay. And she's like, that's the whole reason I came to find you, because he found out that I was your coach, and he contacted me because you were now at the age that he would like to start training you. But as soon as I tell him that you have been out of training for over a year, or for about a year, he's gonna not take you, because he needs you still in competitive form. He needs you still in competitive condition. And so, like, she was practically crying, and she's like, oh, I am so sorry. And so it kind of hit me that I was, okay, how do I say this? I was happy that the Olympic gymnast coach saw something in me and had reached out to my coach to want to train me. Yes, I was sad that I had not been able to stay in training to take that opportunity up. Now, we know everything happens for a reason. I was like, well, I guess one day it'll make a good story to be able to tell my kids that, hey, your mom could have been an Olympic gymnast. But please forgive the background noises, because my family does not know how to walk into another room and say hi to each other. Instead, they have to yell across the house to each other. Sorry about that. So, anyway, so I was like, well, I guess it'll make a good story, but at the same time, like, it was still a sore point. Now, when I became a teenager, I received a letter in the mail. I have no idea how they got my address, nothing, but it was from a girl, and I believe her name, now I could be wrong, but I believe her name was Stephanie, but I'm not 100% positive. But it was from one of the girls that I used to compete next to when we were growing up. And I only know that because she said it in the letter. And she basically wrote a letter telling me, thank you for not doing gymnastics, because she used to come second place to me in the tournaments, and when I was no longer in gymnastics, Bella Caroli looked at her and chose her, and that now she's gotten to go to the Olympics, and she wouldn't have had that opportunity if I had stayed in, so thank you. Now, please understand that to me that is a wow. It was like pouring lemon juice and salt into a wound, because I already knew that I missed out on a chance to be in the Olympics, and then to have the person who would not have had the chance to write me a letter to say, thank you, I've now won medals and been in the Olympics and everything else, and it's all because you couldn't do it. I did not keep that letter, needless to say. And I didn't keep it because it reminded me too much of what could have been. And the thing is that now that I've gotten older, what I have realized is that if I had gone, if I had been in competition shape, competitive shape, if I had still been in gymnastics and I had been trained from an early age by Bella Caroli, then the life I know now would not exist. And that's because when you go into super competitive, like training for the Olympics and all that, like, your life is eat, sleep, breathe gymnastics. There's no thing with boys or dating or eating junk food, and there's so much that you don't get an opportunity to do because your body is in training all the time. So, I would not have met my wonderful husband, because I would not have been in karate. I would not have met my husband. I would not have my beautiful kids that I have now, that I love with every fiber of my being. So, everything happens for a reason. I just wasn't meant to be in the Olympics. And as cool as it would have been, at least I know that I was good enough to want to be picked by the top gymnast coach that there was. So, that says volumes right there, is that I had a talent that was recognized by one of the top coaches. And, anybody that's been in athletics and has been scouted, that's your one thing. Like, you want to have a talent that is good enough to be recognized. And I at least have that. But yes, so she was an absolute, Miss Carr was an amazing person. And so because of her dedication, because of her faith in me and taking me to meets, I never would have even been recognized if it had not have been for her training and how amazing that she was. And I wish every day that I could actually find her and be able to thank her for everything that she did, and she did still shape me into part of the person that I am, because of her, I was more confident in things that I did. I went on to continue doing, even though I didn't do gymnastics, I was doing dance, and then I did, color guard. So I stayed active. But yeah, so that's my little story of how, because of the inspiration of a coach and training, I almost got to go into the Olympics. So it's not a story that everybody has, and I do recognize that. I didn't even really think about telling it at first until Kara was like, "You've got to tell that story," because there's, like I said, there's still a few little, what could have been kind of things, and so it's a little bit harder to think about on some days. Like, it's harder now for me to watch the gymnastics on the Olympics, because when I see it, I appreciate it, but at the same time, it's that sigh of, that could have been me. And I don't like to dwell too much on that, because then I kind of feel like I'm doing like this whole, oh, poor pitiful me, when I have, I have great kids, I have a great husband, and I enjoy teaching, and I would not have discovered all of that, I would not have all that if I had have stayed in competitive gymnastics. So that's my little story. I do want to also say, when we are talking about people that inspire us in education, I'm just going to go ahead and say, ever since meeting Kara, like when she tells me about things that she does for her teachers, I'm like blown away, because her teachers are getting so much more stuff than we get here. And I'm like, and when she tells me, like, the fact that she sent Mindy that absolutely amazing letter for her retirement, oh my gosh, y'all, like, I cried, because I know that when I retire, unless I get a principal like Kara, that's not going to happen for me. I'll get a, thank you for teaching, bye, probably. But that's something like super special with what she does for her teachers. And I think that's amazing. And so I love being able to compare stories, because with her being in a totally different state than me, she's just like, I can't believe that you have to do that. Because like I do, I teach both math and science. I am also the drama coach. I am also the academic coach. So I wear a lot of hats. I used to be the color guard coach as well, but that was one thing too many, and I just couldn't handle it, because with theater and academic team being after school, plus you have practices, rehearsals for theater, and then when performances, and then academic team you have practices, and then you have competitions, which are usually on a Saturday that you have to leave early in the morning. So there was a lot going on, and I couldn't continue hanging with color guard, so I did give that one up. But when she talks to me, she's like, I cannot believe that you have, because I'll have anywhere from 3 to 5 preps, which preps means that I'm teaching 3 to 5 different subjects that I have to do a lesson plan on individually for them. And I don't know, to me it's just normal. When you are certified in both math and science, they like to try to utilize you in both areas that you are certified in. So, I'm the one that went and got the certification, so I knew that at some point I was probably going to be teaching both. All right, so I think I have rambled on probably long enough. Y'all are probably saying, okay, girly, get it over with. So I am going to stop here, and I am going to do my drawing for my winner. Now here is, okay, hold on a second. I want y'all to be able to see it, so I'm going to put this over here. All right, so we have this wax caddy that is heart-shaped, and I do already have a heart-shaped wax. And if you are new, Diamond Art Club does these heart-shaped wax, and I just thought it would be really cool to be able to have the container. So when I found this on Drill Pen Frenzies on Etsy, I was like, ooh, I have to have one of those. So when I got me one, I thought, well, that would make a cute little gift. And we also have, this is a cover minder. Really, camera? No. Is it too fabulous? Okay, well, I'll do it this way then, since you want to be that way. This is a cover minder. Okay, and this is a real crystal. This, if I am correct, this is, my brain is blanking right now. Quartz, sorry. This is, and it's purple, so it might possibly be amethyst, but I do believe it's purple quartz. And so I thought this was really cool, because when you're talking about mystical and crystals hold a lot of cool energy, and so I thought this would be a really neat cover minder. So these are the two things. Come on, camera. These are the two things that I am giving away. So let me get my list, and let me get my number generator. All right, here. So pull up the number generator. Okay. All right, so I have 10 that actually filled out the form and were in the comments that have not already won before. Because for the daily, or for the weekly giveaways, if you've already won the weekly giveaway, you can't win another weekly one, but you are still good to go for the final. All right, so here we go. All right, I have number 8, which is Ureli. Woo, woo, woo! So I hope I said that right, Ureli. I hope I did not butcher that. So what I will do, Ureli, is that I will email you and get you to let me know where I can send your prize to. So congratulations. I am so happy that you won. And that's it for me for this Whip and Chat. So, as I always say, reach for the stars, grab hold, hold on, and never let go. Until the next time, bye guys!